Hi there. I have decided that it's time to start harvesting a couple things out of my GreenStalk as an experiment. I decided to try throwing some potatoes in a couple of the layers, and so today I'm gonna go ahead and harvest that. And the plants have actually stayed growing and green pretty well. There was a point, maybe a couple months ago, where I felt like they were really looking sad and droopy. So I put a little bone meal around the plants, and they perked up. I think they needed some nutrients, even though I had put some things into the potting mix, and it was a good organic potting mix to start with. I believe I had added some Biotone starter fertilizer, the Biotone from Espoma, and I can't remember if I also added bone meal when I planted the seed potatoes, but I think giving them that boost was helpful. And then, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I tried just to see in one of the, I think they're called the leaf, I'm not sure, one of the pockets. I think it was maybe, I don't know, one of the ones where the plant looked pretty sad. I did try kind of digging around, and I was able to pull out a couple of smallish potatoes, but not like little teeny tiny ones. So today it's time. It's the second week of October, and even though we're currently having some nice weather, we recently had about a week of rain after we actually were in pretty extreme drought conditions for Ohio. Normally is a pretty consistent climate for getting rain on a fairly regular basis until maybe August, where we'll have some drier patches, but we were really low on our water. We had not had hardly any rain all summer, and so then about a week ago, for about a week until a couple days ago, we had almost everyday rain, and everything looks so much better. In fact, later today I'm getting out and mowing the yard finally after several weeks of not being able to. Got lots of leaves. If you hear things falling, I have several nut trees on the property, and this is the time of the year when a lot of that stuff starts falling down. Anyways, so we're gonna harvest, and so I just pulled one of the plants, and oh my gosh, look, these potatoes look so good. They actually are a decent size, so I'm excited to see what we have in here in these 2 layers. This might actually even be better than the potatoes that I grew in the garden. I was really disappointed with how much production I got out of both the big grow bags that I did in the garden as well as in the ground. In fact, so much so that I found a place where I could still get some seed potatoes back in July, and I planted those, and in hopes of maybe a second round. The week of rain, those plants have pretty much almost dissolved, so I'm going to go dig around in there later and see if anything grew before the plants just gave up the ghost. But anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to dump them out. Let me show you. I have a tarp here that's just a small one, and just big enough. I'm going to lay this out here, and I'm going to dump the one layer at a time on here, dig around, make sure I've got all the potatoes. I'll put them on a tray, and then I'm going to immediately get them inside out of the sun. You do not want to leave potatoes exposed to sunlight. They will turn green. It causes a reaction, and that green is actually making the potatoes very almost toxic. I'm not going to say toxic because I'm not sure, but I just know it will make you sick if you eat the green parts. So you want to get them out of the dirt and someplace with a consistent temperature, some airflow, where they can cure, because the skins right now are very delicate. That's what would make them be considered new potatoes. So when you buy in the store something called new potatoes, the idea is that they did not really sit out and cure, and so that makes the skins a lot thinner and easier just to kind of rub off. So I want these to to cure first before storing them. So I'm gonna get these out of here. I'll show you what we've got once we get them dumped out. So I've pulled the plants out, and there were several potatoes attached to each of the plants that were still green. And now I've just kind of set this on its side, and I'm gonna just pull out the dirt and kind of dig through it, and potatoes, yay! And then I'm immediately I'm trying to keep them out of the sun, and I'm being very delicate with, as gentle as I can, because I don't want to disturb those skins, so that those skins can have a chance to cure and harden, because my goal and hope was to try to have some potatoes that I could have for a while, like to actually store. Now I don't know if I'm going to end up with enough like to last for months, but oh my gosh, you guys, there's potatoes in here. Yeah. All right, GreenStalk for the win. The GreenStalk definitely so far is doing way better at potato production than the garden did. I'm going to keep digging around here, and I'll show you how much I end up with when I'm all done. All right, this is what I got from one tier of the GreenStalk. These are German butterball potatoes, and it's not enough to store and feed me for through the winter, but it is a much better production than what I got out of the ones that I put in my garden. So I don't know if there's some things I want to try with the garden. I think maybe I planted the ones in the garden too deep. I don't think I watered them quite as much as I should have at first. So there's some things I'm going to try differently in the garden to try to increase the potato production for next year. But I'm very happy with this. This is easily, at least a couple meals. So that has me very excited. So I'm curious to see what my other tier is going to look like. I don't remember if I planted the complete second layer, but I am very happy, and I'll be back to show you what the other tier produced in just a minute. All right, and this is the final result. These are the other variety that were in there. They're called Purple Viking. And you can see everybody's very wet, so I'm trying to be very careful. These are the ones I think that I picked a couple out of there, but look how nice looking a lot of these, nice size, hardly any little itty bitty ones. Again, not a ton of potatoes compared to what I see some people being able to produce from like a regular garden plot, but much better than what I got out of my garden this year. So the GreenStalk definitely is not a bad option, especially if you don't need a ton of potatoes. I got some nice sized looking potatoes out here. And that's it for me for today. I'm off to get the yard taken care of. Might be pulling out my sweet potatoes as well. If so, I'll make a little video. But thanks for joining me here today at Aunt Susan's Garden.